already know what time it is. Your boy Joe T. Y'all already know what's going on, man. Since I'm on the live, y'all already check this out. Check this out. I got my guy with me one more time for the one time, and that's Pops. You know what I'm saying? Hey, matter of fact, Pop, go ahead. You can talk to him. I know you got to see a little bit of the last, you know what I'm saying, thing in the comment section and stuff. I'm pretty sure you want to say something, so you go ahead.
Yeah, man. I got to see a little bit of the comment section, man. I really appreciate all the comments that was coming in and the support from the people, man. I love that kind of stuff. It blew my mind to even be able to see something like that, man. I never seen nothing like that before in my life. It was just amazing for me to be able to see that. And I want to just thank everybody for tuning in and shooting out those questions and comments and just all the love and support. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that, man. You know what I mean? I just want to let them know that for sure.
Bet that, man. And I ain't gonna hold you long, you know what I'm saying, as far as I'm gonna get right into the subject, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of us got ADHD, you know what I'm saying, we got attention deficit, so I want to go ahead and just get straight to it. But me and my pops, we just gonna talk a little bit about I guess you could say the life of being affiliated or being a gang member or being in an organization, you know what I'm saying, the ins and outs of it, things that they don't tell you about, things that you come to find out once you in it, you know what I'm saying, you might not be so cool with it. And for example, because I'm getting ready to drop a story on my page, everybody was asking me to tell the story about the first time I was afraid in prison. And that story really come about because I was in a cell with a Crip, for instance. I was in a cell with a Crip who I was cool with. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with him before we was in the hole. And once we got in the hole, you know what I'm saying, we eating together, we breaking bread together, you know what I'm saying, we playing chess together, like we was cool, like we vibing. While we was in the cell together in the hole, a war broke out between what he was affiliated with and what I was affiliated with. And when the war broke out, of course they came back there. They came to the back and they told everybody that the compound was on lockdown. And me and him being affiliated, our first, whether we said it to each other or not, I'm sure he was thinking the same thing I was thinking. I hope it ain't got nothing to do with the G's, and I was thinking, I hope it ain't got nothing to do with the Crips. Because if it's got something to do with the G's and the Crips, regardless of how cool me and him are, we finna have to clash because we in the cell together. And lo and behold, about 5 or 10 minutes later, they start bringing his homeboys that he was affiliated with back to the hole. So he asking them what's going on, and guess what they say? Man, it's cracking off with the G's, cuz. As soon as they said that, as soon as he said, he looked back right at me, and we both understood the time, regardless of, it was a, man, and after they got the Crips in the cell, the G's started coming to the hole. And when the G's came in, they already talking about how they done smashed the Crips and did this and did that and stabbed the Crips and they was Freddy Krueger and all this and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I get on the door and I'm like, hey, what's going on out there, G? And they like, man, you already know what time it is, little Joe T, man, GD on that. You know what I'm saying? Did this and that. And by the time I turn around, he had a pencil in his hand. We both understood right there that regardless of how cool we were, that was out the water. So I want to ask my pops, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let him, cause y'all know he been down for a long time, man. How many times have you been in situations where it was either somebody that you had got real cool with in there, maybe a call had to be made, you didn't really want to make, like you had created a bias between what you were affiliated with and your relationship with a person, and how hard that is, and what is the reality of that to you, Daddy?
Wow, yeah, I got several different stories about that, man, that I went through. I remember one time, actually this brother is a relative, but he's a blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And may he rest in peace, he passed away, you know what I'm saying, overdose in prison, actually. But he was a blood, and he had gotten into it with some Crips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is my cousin, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it like, okay, I'm coming to my family's aid, but the fam, GD had told me, look, stand down. Now, keep in mind, again, I was in charge, but I got to abide by the rules too, right?
Right.
And it was just hard for me to watch him go into the situation, you know what I'm saying, knowing that he needed my help. He really wasn't a fighter, you know what I'm saying, but he represented what he represented, and I knew the odds were against him because there wasn't a handful of them on the compound. And I'm really ashamed to say it right now, now that I think about it, because I hadn't thought about it in years until you brought this up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come to his aid. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And he ended up, I didn't come to his aid, man. The pressure was on me to stand down, because if I step in there, then I bring the whole fam with me. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And Crib did, loved it. But anyway, he ended up getting his jaw broke, man.
Yeah.
And then, he got his jaw broke. I mean, like in 3 places, man. He messed up. They had to take him out. But it was weird because, this is my family, and I wanted to help him. But after he came back, I ended up getting involved in it anyway, and I ended up getting in trouble for that, because you don't get to cross those lines. It does not matter.
Right.
You're related to somebody or get cool with somebody or not. You just don't get to cross those lines, and that's something that they don't tell you. When you join. You learn that the hard way.
Right.
It doesn't matter, like you say about, it doesn't matter about blood in the vein. It doesn't matter about when you grew up with them, when you got cool with them in here. If you represent something different, then you got to stand on the side that you stand on, and that's that on that. But I'm gonna tell you, I had another issue like that, but this had nothing to do with another organization or anything like that. This was within the house. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed when you said a few minutes ago about the first time you actually got scared and ripped, right? For me, you know what I'm saying, one of the many times that I have, you know what I'm saying? One of the many times, man, when the fam was going to try to kill me. You know what I'm saying? They actually were going to try to kill me. Yeah, because the situation was going on where, I don't know if anybody understands what I'm about to say, but I'm going to explain it. If you don't understand, please sit in and ask for it out and explain a little bit more. But basically, the house was split. What that means is that we had an issue with GD that made half of the brothers take one side and the other half take the other, right? What happened was, I had been told that there were some brothers that were messing with, and I ain't never told this story, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to tell it. Since we talking, I'm going to tell the story. I had some information that come to me about some brothers that were messing with some other men that was having homosexual relations. You feel what I'm saying? And that's a no-no, you know what I'm saying, within the org, right? So I brought down and tell them, look, okay, bring them to the yard, we're going to write them up, deal with them, take them to trial about it, this and that. But you had some brothers that took their side, because they were saying that these brothers been locked up for a long time. They should be able to do whatever they need to do to get through their time. You feel me? A lot of people think like that. So anyway, these brothers, man, they took sides. And we came to the yard, and they were like, look, if you're going to violate them, you're going to have to violate us. I had it was about 60 of us up there. Half stood with me, the other half stood with them. And we were actually at war with each other. You know what I'm saying? And I was on my way to work. Like over the next couple of days, I was going to work, man. And where I worked at, I had to walk through this trail. And some of the guys were standing up there. But these guys that were standing up there, they had picked the other side. You feel what I'm saying? Because, they stood with dude. But I still did not think that it would come to that point. It was the first time I dealt with the house being split.
Right.
And as I was walking up, I'm noticing the moves. You know how the hair stand up on your neck and all that old kind of stuff? I'm starting to feel my spider senses kicking in, man. And then the closer I get up there to them, then here I see it.
Right.
Man, I stopped dead in my tracks. You feel what I'm saying? Dead in my tracks. And then they start running towards me. And as they started running towards me, I didn't peep that the police seeing what's going on from behind me. They're coming up there too. I freeze. I'm trying to get into battle mode because they know where to run, man. You do not turn your back on no pocket knife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do not do that there. And they came at me, man. You know what I'm saying? And tried to get me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The police wouldn't have been right there. They probably would have gone and got me then. You know
Right.
what I mean? But later on that afternoon, of course, and I'm not proud to say, but I'm just keeping it 100 while we over here, man. That afternoon, dealt with them guys. You know what I'm saying? Pushed them off the compound. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to have a pocket knife, and I put these hands on them. But, it was just another example of what you're trying to talk about. It's like the things that go on within an organization and stuff like that. They don't tell you that one day your brothers might not agree with something that you do, and they might try to actually kill you. They don't tell you that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, they don't tell you those types of things, man. And I've been through several of those types of situations. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's dealing with within the organization or outside the organization in my past. I don't represent that no more. You feel me? I'll make sure everybody understand that.
Right.
But I've been through several types of issues like that, man, where people, that what you think you represent and you think it's all love and all this stuff, for the most part, man, it's not. It's just not, man. And I know people don't want to hear that, but
Right.
that's what it is, man.
Right.
They don't want to hear that.
See,
I know, and I understand why they don't want to hear it. You feel me? Because, you make a decision, a life decision like that, then you find out that it's not what people make it out to be.
right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And see, it's another thing. Like when I was recording the video earlier, which I ain't posted it yet. When I was recording the video earlier, I was talking about how you grow up. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to gangs, organizations, whatever you want to call them, being affiliated, you grow up and we don't even realize like we picking colors, neighborhoods, and streets over. You know what I'm saying? Relationships. It's just so crazy to me how, and then not only that, like I was thinking, I was like, man, it's crazy that something that started way over on the west coast or up in Chicago has made its way to whatever state or whatever city, and based on history that happened in these cities with people we have never met, people that's done died for this, went to jail for this, we pick up on that history, make a pledge to this, to something somebody else created, somebody else came up with. We pledge to this, and then put ourselves to where we're obligated to uphold morals, codes, guidelines, or whatever somebody else created. And with that being said, we don't even understand that sometimes that put us in a situation of where we'll have to go against our own family. For instance, me and my brother in the cell together, right? Me and my brother in the cell together. Let's say my brother got into it, and let's say my brother was a Crip, I'm a G. My brother get into it with some 5 Deuce Hoovers. Guess what the G's gonna tell me? Man, we know it's your brother. We know that's your brother, Joe T, but man, you gotta leave that alone. They saying it on the strength of, they don't want, because if I get involved, the G's gonna have to get involved, and later on they'll deal with me. But they gotta ride because now I'm a G, because I'm a G and AG.
That's right.
But I can watch, they will tell me, I gotta sit and watch 2 Crips, two 5 Deuce Hoovers, basically gang my brother, and I can't jump in and help at all. All because of something that I pledged to from some years and years and years and years and years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with my granddaddy, my granny, people who birthed us. Ain't got nothing to do with my family, none of that. It come from a history of someone. They ain't got nothing to do with my city, my state, nothing. But because you pledge to that, you got to choose a side.
Yeah, they mean that too. They mean that. But see, here's the twisted philosophy behind it, man. Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago where you got to take that oath, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got people that are broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just my opinion. You got people that are broken, that are taking an oath so that they will have some type of self-worth, you know what I'm saying, about themselves, to uphold an oath and saying that I will submit myself to be subordinate to these rules that I know don't benefit me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I need some type of validation to feel like I'm somebody. And that's what most people do. People don't admit that on the top end.
Right.
They need to be validated, or they want to belong to some for protection or whatever the case may be. But you are agreeing to submit to rules and regulations that mean you no good.
Right.
No good.
Right.
They make it seem as if, I've always said that it is the myth of what gangs are about that attract people.
Right.
It's the reality of what it is that keeps you in it. It traps you.
Right.
They ain't nowhere to go. You feel what I'm saying? Well, that's what most people think anyway, because they would make you feel like that you can't leave without being brutalized. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something that really stood out to me while you were talking, man. When you talking about family, your brother, this is that, I got to thinking about when you got put in violation. I'm your father, right?
Right.
I gotta call people that have no relation to you whatsoever and beg them not to hurt you. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And it made me feel as helpless as anybody could ever feel, because, like I say, once I seen, when you came into prison and all this and that, and I knew that I had to protect you, but I couldn't protect you even with that. Because that lifestyle, like I say, once you pick what you pick to belong to, they get to say. I don't get to say.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
I don't get to say,
right.
you know what I mean, what I want you to do and how I want you to do it and all of the other things. I don't have no say-so in there. And that's what a lot of people just don't get.
Right.
Once you pledge, I don't care if it's GD, Christ, Lord, Blood, Crip, whatever the case may be, you don't get to decide no more. Like you said, somebody that created this whole platform, you ain't never met and ain't gonna meet, has created all of these rules to say this is what we're gonna be governed by.
Right.
This is what we're gonna use to determine whether you real or you not real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, and and they decided that, and then here we are, we sitting here thinking that this is straight.
Right.
And it ain't nothing straight about it.
Nothing
straight about it.
And like I remember another situation which I talked about in the story I'm finna get ready to upload. The phone probably finna hang up too. I talked about how basically it was a war that popped off because of a situation that happened on the streets. And people on the streets basically call the penitentiary and say, when that individual get there, y'all need to handle that. Then you got people who over you. Something happened on the streets. You already doing time. They calling and still basically putting you in predicaments and situations to where you can add more time.
1 minute remaining.
You can add more time to your sentence. And they don't care nothing about that. It's all about now you pledge to that, take care of the business. And if you don't do it, they gonna get you.
Yeah, they gonna get you. They gonna get you.
You wanna call back real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna get right back.
Man, for everybody just getting on here, man, just chiming in, tuning in, whatever you want to call it. We just going over a few things about when it comes to being affiliated, you know what I'm saying, in the penitentiary, man. Things they don't tell you, things that you really, you know what I'm saying, you don't really have no idea what's going on until things start happening. Like for real, like it was a couple of situations in there where I literally had to choose between people I grew up with, people I know personally, people that I have become, you know what I'm saying, friends with since I had been there, where I had to choose what I had pledged to over my friendships. Like, that's crazy.
Your current balance is 18.
Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure my daddy got way more stories than what he's saying, but
Thank you for using GTL.
All right, then, boo.
yeah, but yeah, I was just catching the people up, man, and telling them what we were talking about as far as, you know what I'm saying. I know for the last couple of years, we done had a lot of conversations about, you know what I'm saying, that life. And right before we started the lab, I know we was talking about how you really don't think about a lot of this stuff until you done made a way out of it. You know what I'm saying? Until you done got out of it. You know what I'm saying? And what's some of the stuff you look back on, Daddy, you look back on and say, man, what was I thinking? Can you think of anything?
I can think of a lot of things. Yeah, man, look here. Okay, I was, for the most part, I was hugely in a position of authority. So I made a lot of the stuff that I look back on, I made a lot of decisions, man. Not because they were the right decisions, but I made a lot of decisions because I knew that's what I was expected to do, right? It hurts some people. You feel what I'm saying? Really hurts some people. I mean, it really hurts some people, man. I tell you one time, man, he was this old head. And he was a cool dude, but he was like one of the dudes that used to do a lot of running for the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, taking care of something.
Right.
Taking care of whatever. So anyway, one day, you know, some of the guys, they were around, they were playing poker. You know what I'm saying? So they had him running to the cell grabbing. If they needed a soda or something like that, he'd run and get the soda for them and all that old kind of stuff, right? So in the process, man, this brother, he done stole something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He stole something. And now, I mess with the dude. So I tell the brother, look, let me deal with this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they want blood, though. I take this dude is older, man. He had to be at this time probably late 50s, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Late 50s, but he looked older than that because he had been using drugs his whole life, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I took him into the cell, man, and me and him talking, and this old man broke down and started crying, man, telling me, man, Joe T, man, I'm sorry, I'm paid, please don't do this to me, this, that. And I'm trying to tell him while they're outside the cell watching, and ain't but one other brother in there with me, you know what I'm saying, my second ex-man. They outside the cell watching, they want me to hurt this man. You feel what I'm saying? But I told them, I won't handle this, man. Let me handle this my way. They were like, cool. So I tell this man, put your hand on the desk. Put your hand on the desk, the metal desk. So I take this wood brush, man, and I break three of this man's fingers. You feel what I'm saying? I break his fingers. And I think about that all the time, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
Real talk, man, because I don't feel like, people really think about the pain that they cause the people when they involved in this type of stuff, man. And you look back in all the decisions that I made, pushing people off the compound so they wouldn't be able to be out and about for different reasons. And some of the decisions that I was involved in, sitting in rooms, deciding somebody's fate, whether this person gets to stay on the compound, or we're going to push them off, or we're going to send some other rival gang to deal with them, because we don't want to get our hands dirty. A lot of the things that I look back on, man, and I'm saying to myself, I really wish that I would have thought this thing through a little bit better, as far as even being associated with it. But you don't think about that, man. You just really don't think about that.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm just saying that's what it is.
Right.
Never really thought about, the things that this thing, the pain that it's going to cause people. I ain't never think about it like that, man. Until, honestly, man, until you and my trades got locked up. I never did. But at that point, it's like, I'm so far in, and I'm in. I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
Now I got to look at something might happen to one of y'all. Somebody might try to do something to one of y'all to get back at me. That's when I started thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was just here by myself and there wasn't nobody in here, that I had to worry about physically, I didn't think about this stuff, man. And I don't think most people do. It's when it hits home, that's when people start thinking about it, man.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
What about you?
No,
What type of things were you in?
Well, see, me, I would come first. Commercial break me real quick, please. Hey, look. Hey, y'all, check this out. If y'all ain't checked out my daddy podcast, do me a favor, man. Go subscribe to the podcast. I think you said you 22 members away from hitting 5,000.
I need 22 downloads, man.
Like,
I'll be at my 5,000 mark qualified.
Yeah, he need 22 more subscribers, 22 more people to go download on this podcast so he can do more things with the podcast. If y'all get a chance, man, check this out. Go to Google, because I've seen a lot of people in the comments say they couldn't find it. Just go to Google and type in "Doing Time with Joe." That's all y'all do. Just type in "Doing Time with Joe" podcast. It's gonna pop up. It's gonna be right in front of you, man. And if you get a chance, man, stream that, let it play. You know what I'm saying? Check them out. It's some good conversations on there, especially if you got loved ones incarcerated, you got loved ones coming out. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to figure out certain things, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's a few things on there you can listen to that'll help you. But yeah, I had a
D-O-I-N. Remember that?
they plugging it in, DOIN without the G. They plugging it in the comment section. Yeah, I had a few situations where, once I was fresh off the street. Let me say this, and this ain't no excuse. This is honest truth. I was fresh off the street, so my mind operated a certain type of way. I seen things a certain type of way. When it came to manipulation, being conniving and all, I was with all of that. So when I got around people who was moving that way and doing it that way, you know what I'm saying? It was just like being on the streets. It was kind of home to me. You know what I'm saying? I had no issue with laying in the grass with the snakes. You know what I'm saying? I had no issue with getting dirty with the pigs. So check this out. But I remember it was certain things that was going on where it was like, you know what, this ain't that, because I seen so many times where they were taking advantage of people that, they considered weak or, alone or didn't have some kind of muscle behind them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't never consider myself to be a bully, even when I was on the streets. I picked on people that I felt like, would have picked on me. Like, I was never the person that was just picking on people that I felt wouldn't defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I seen a lot of times, like, the escorting from the shower, certain things is going on. Like, I seen people that I was like, man, now I'm a different kind of cut. You know what I'm saying? I don't pick on people that can't defend themselves. That's coward stuff to me. But I remember, man, I had a celly, man, and he was real tight on the literature. You know what I'm saying? But he was real green, real goofy, real gullible. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't realize that he was these folks punching bag a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? They were never laughing with him. They was laughing at him, and then before you know it, they was always putting him in the cross, and he was taking this. And I remember one time, man, they was all sitting in the cell, and they had called me up to the cell. It was right after inspection because the brother had done something during inspection, and they caused them to go down there and search the cell. And I think they might have found some literature. They found they found something in there that could have tied him to the folks. So they tried to make it as if, you know what I'm saying, he could have got all the folks searching. You know what I'm saying? He did something he had no business doing. Could have caused a bigger issue. So I walk up in this cell. They done called me in the cell, and when I'm sitting in there, these folks was literally devising a plan to hoping he would fall for it so they can beat on him and send him to PC. And I'm sitting here listening, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? Then it turned to Joe T, you know what I'm saying? They asking me what I think. And I'm sitting here like, they literally orchestrating a way to cross this dude out. Instead of, if that's how you feel, just go to him and have a, you know what I'm saying, find him. They was trying to find a way for him to get himself into something where they could probably beat this man half to death, then send him to the back to PC. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what in the world? Because you gotta consider in those type of settings that this eventually could be me. This could be me on the outside of the door and they here discussing me. Which happened. It happened months after that when I took the 6-minute no cover violation, and I called and we called, you know what I'm saying, and then everything came out. Them folks literally sit in the cell and called about me, told a bunch of lies, and put me on probation and said if I done anything to eradicate me. This same conversation I sit in with some brothers about crossing up somebody out, eventually I became that conversation on the outside of the door. And I was like, man, this is like, but when you sign up for it, you don't know it's that kind of you don't know them kind of conversation is going on behind closed doors. You have no idea that these brothers will even go to that extent to do something to you. Like, you really don't. Like, they cover it up like it's all love, like everybody, we eating together, we move together, we do this together. And the whole time, sometimes they sitting in the cell together and they plotting on how they about to do some harm to you. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, been there, done that. But those are the types of conversations, those are the leadership conversations where you plot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And really, yeah, but see, what you do when you're doing that, you're teaching everybody else that this is how you survive in this.
Right.
That's how come it becomes like a dog-eat-dog type thing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That you learn this is how you survive. Cross your next man out. And that's supposed to be your brother.
Right.
You know how you hear people out there saying, I see it on TV all the time, where they be saying, you ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm about that life.
Right.
They don't even understand what that means.
Right.
You have to be about a real cutthroat type of mentality to live in that circle, in that world, man. You got to be cutthroat. And you can't care about nobody. You can't care about yourself. You feel what I'm saying?
Nah, you can't.
You have to be willing to, you can't. You
No.
have to be willing to go there at any time. I mean, any time. Whether it's you or somebody else, if you have any morals about yourself, now listen, I know a lot of people going to disagree with this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you have any morals about yourself, or you have any conscience about yourself, you're going to be conflicted all the time.
All the time.
Because I was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you like, man, do I do this because I don't want to be on the other side of this, or do I stand on what's right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And most of the time, man, look here, in here, you're going to do what the business say do, man, until they come to you.
Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying? 'Cause you're trying to survive.
Yeah, it's
You're trying to survive.
it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It ain't no love in it, man. Ain't no love. They say it is. They pretend it is. And that's not to say that you won't meet some people that'll be decent people and feel the same way you do.
Yeah.
You feel me? But it's almost like everybody's scared to say what everybody knows is true.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's
everybody's terrified to say.
That's what make it the most dangerous, because 9 times out of 10, everybody is being fueled by their own fear of what'll happen to me if I don't. Everybody fueled off fear. You know what I'm saying? I gotta lie to you. I gotta get over. I gotta take advantage. I gotta act like I'm on go mode for you.
If I don't do it to you, you're gonna do it to me. That's what you start thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Thank you,
know.
son. Thank you, man.
But hey, like I was saying, I seen a lot of people. Commercial break me, please. I seen a lot of people in the comment section talking about the podcast. It's DOIN without the G. Doing Time with Joe is the podcast. Doing Time with Joe. Go to Google, type in Doing Time with Joe, and it's gonna pop up. It's streaming on all platforms. It'll pop up. You will see his clip, his artwork. You know what I'm saying, with the bars on it. Doing Time with Joe, man. I really appreciate y'all taking the time to listen. You know what I'm saying. I hope everybody, you know what I'm saying, got something from it. You know what I'm saying, because conversations like this is really to open people, get people to see, you know what I'm saying, the inside of really what goes on between affiliation and gangs. Because a lot of rappers and TV and stuff that we see out, you know what I'm saying, they paint this image and they paint this picture of this glamorous, cool life and their family. You know what I'm saying? They want you to believe like it's a family-oriented type of situation, and then by the time you get into it, it's hard. It's easy to get in and it's hard to get out. Just like going to jail, it's easy to get in trouble. It's just hard to get out of all of it. And by the time you get in it and you see everything that's going on, guess what's going to happen to you? Your mind and your heart is going to conform, because you're going to feel forced to conform. And when you start to conform, it's going to be harder to get yourself back. So many people lose themselves once they conform, because you see so much cutthroat going on, you see so much conniving going on, and then guess what you have to do to survive? You have to adapt. And when you start to adapt, guess what you done did? You done conformed your mind. And when you do that, it's a different ball game. And that, you know what I'm saying? That's just like the scripture. When the scripture say, don't be conformed to this world, but be renewed by the transformation of your mind, which means to form new ideas. Not only do they work in the spiritual world, it also work in the carnal world. When you in the carnal world, you will conform to the ideas and the ideology of men. And get like I said, you will get lost in it. You will sink so deep into that hole, you will become that. Just pay attention to how people twist their fingers. Look at how easy it is. What does that tell you? That means they've been doing it for years and years and years and years. They have conformed. They body language speak it. They walk a certain type of way. And don't you think it's amazing that you can look at somebody and tell what they affiliated with by the way they walk it? They have been conformed by the things that they wear. They have been conformed. They take letters and change them and redo their own vocabulary because they conform. But see, when they speaking it to you, they make it sound so cool. They make it sound so popular and whatever it is, and they come with status. The whole time you're not even understanding what they doing is they conforming you, programming you.
Yeah, it's grooming you. It's grooming you. Yeah, it's grooming you. See, when you coming from a place of fear, that's what happens. They're operating from a place of fear. And I want people to understand that this is about truth. This ain't about anything other than that. It's about telling the truth about the lifestyle. And I don't have anything personally against anybody that lives the lifestyle. This is not about an individual. This is about a corrupt, evil ideology. That's what this is about.
Right.
That ideology will conform, like you said, conform your heart and your mind. And you will end up doing things that you never thought that you would do to people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then doing to yourself. And when you operate from a place of fear, you function like that. Like I say all the time, it takes a broken-hearted person to break somebody's heart. And that's how you live when you're living in that type of lifestyle. You commit things, you commit acts that you never thought you would do. You got to have a crazy imagination to do some of the types of things that this lifestyle would have you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like you say, once you conform, once you've been handed over to that reprobate mind, anything goes. And then you'll try to justify it. You'll say that I'm about that life. Or you'll say that the people that don't believe in that are not real, are not solid. You know what I'm saying? They this and they that.
Right.
You'll down these people that are just trying to live a decent life.
Yep.
People that are just trying to live an honest, wholesome life. You'll call them weak. You'll
Right.
call them police. You'll say all of these things about them to make them feel like and have other people believing that they ain't straight. And the problem is, you know you're not straight. You feel what I'm saying? That you don't have the courage.
Yeah.
People like that, they don't have, it takes a lot of courage, boo. It takes a lot of courage to stand up and walk away from it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of people just can't do it. I'll never forget when I retired, man, and walked away from the lifestyle. I had so many brothers that said, man, I wish I could do it. I wish I could do it. I still get them saying that today.
Yeah.
Now, I run into somebody that's been doing it for a long time, And they'll be like, how did you do it? I just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just did it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you just walk away, man. And but yeah, when you're so afraid, you know what I'm saying, of what can happen to you and all of these other things, and you're so afraid of what somebody might try to do to you, you feel trapped, man. And that's what it is. Most people they just feel trapped, man. And it's an evil ideology, man. And that's not to say that the people in it are evil. So
Right.
don't get my words twisted.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that ideology is evil. If you drink that Kool-Aid, then there it is. You feel what I'm saying?
And with that being said, my question to everybody that's on here and the people who gonna watch it, what is it that's keeping you tied to something? What ideology have you bought into? What have you conformed to? I don't care if it's a relationship, affiliation, job. What is it that's done grab hold of you and it's done started to change who you are and you started to adapt to that? Maybe out of fear, maybe out of convenience, maybe because it's benefiting you at the time, maybe because, like most of us, we stay in situations because we're scared. Is it something that's holding you captive? Is it something that you basically done came into and you in some form of bondage and you really know you don't want to be there and there's something keeping you from walking away? That's how I'm gonna end this. And if you ain't on the podcast with my pops, it's Doing Time with Joe, and that's our time, man. Again, we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying, rocking with us. I'm finna get ready to end this live, man. Pops, you got anything you want to say before I roll?
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on here, and I appreciate the people, man. And send them comments in, man. I really like to look at them and read them and see what y'all got to say about the shows, man. And check out the podcast, man. I appreciate y'all.
Now, what's up? Y'all, anything y'all want to ask my pops for us to get on here talk about, drop it in the comment section. We'll jump on that subject. Y'all be cool how y'all be cool.